So what makes you think I have lady problems, huh?
Feminine intuition, I suppose.
I'd say your feminine intuition is pretty accurate.
Actually, everyone at World Oil knows that you were all set to marry Ginny Marshall on Christmas Eve before her husband came back from Cambodia.
Yep, it's no secret.
And now, of course, everybody thinks that that's the reason that you're leaving town.
Everybody thinks that?
Oh, but that's just talk. You know how secretaries love to gossip.
Yeah, guess so.
Now, I don't usually cotton to that sort of thing, you know, but there's always one of the girls that thinks she just has to bend my ear.
Well, you know what? I really wonder what those same people would think if they knew I wasn't going to leave town after all.
What?
Something's come up, and that's changed my mind about going away.
Did Barrett tell you that Elliot Carrington was a traitor?
Yes, he did.
Did it come from one of his nightmares?
No.
Well, was it a memory flash? How did he remember?
Ryan Connor, who's Alex Wheeler's nephew, discussed it with Barry first.
Now, Alex Wheeler is the man that Carrington tried to murder. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
And Ryan Connor is his nephew.
He also works for Alex at World Oil.
All right. Now, what grounds would Ryan Connor have to discuss this subject with your husband?
Before Ryan was Alex's executive assistant, he was in the CIA for a while.
Oh, that's right. Yes, right. I understand. Some of the CIA thought that Carrington was the traitor. I remember their theory. Now, they thought because Carrington was seen with some local politicians near the Cambodian border, they assumed that he was given safe conduct for turning in his fellow prisoners.
You sound like you don't believe that, Colonel.
No, I don't.
Well, why would Elliot be with the Cambodians on the border then?
He'd been in Cambodia many years before he was taken prisoner. He knew the country inside and out. He had many good friends there.
So what are you implying?
Well, these good friends could have helped him across the border.
Well, Barrett thinks for sure that Elliot was the one who cracked at the prison camp.
Well, after his recent behavior here in Houston, it certainly lends weight to that assumption.
Elliot was the only one who escaped without injury. Barrett was almost killed, and all the other prisoners were killed.
Well, not all of them, Mrs. Marshall.
There is another survivor?
Well, we don't know yet, but there's a European war correspondent that's still unaccounted for.
Colonel Austin, don't you think that Elliot was the traitor?
Well, I just don't know, Mrs. Marshall. I wasn't there, and I just can't make a judgment.
Well, neither was I. But Barrett was, and I assume that he ought to know.
Well, perhaps.
I hope that all this information will be kept confidential. I don't want Elliot to get in trouble. He's in enough trouble as it is already.
Mrs. Marshall, I can assure you that if the United States government thought that Carrington was a traitor and was responsible for the lives of those American prisoners, he never would have been allowed to leave Washington.
I see.
Well.
Barry, I have a visitor.
Why, Colonel Austin.
Yes.
What a pleasant surprise.
Well, nice to see you again, looking so healthy and happy.
Being back at the ranch has meant a great deal, and of course, being Ginny.
Mm-hmm.
What brings you to Houston?
Well, I've come here to give you a medal. Mrs. Marshall, that was a wonderful home-cooked meal, and I sure do appreciate it.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Colonel Austin.
Colonel Austin, tell me exactly the name of the medal you're going to give Barrett.
The Distinguished Service Medal.
Oh, sounds wonderful.
In the Army, the term distinguished service isn't bandied about lightly.
I'm sure it's lovely.
When are you going to give Daddy his medal?
Honey, that's not the way to ask.
Steve, you got a point there.
Well, does it have to be done in the city at a military building?
No, it can be awarded anyway. If you'll pardon me for saying so, the main thing you have to have is have a high-ranking officer present.
You mean that it could be presented right here?
Certainly. This would be a nice setting.
I'd like that.
Well, you just pick a time in the next several days, and I'll be glad to give you the award and read the citation.
That would be wonderful. You know, the Marshals have a proud military tradition.
When I grow up, I'm going to win a medal, too.
I bet you will, honey.
I appreciate your coming to Texas, and especially for such an occasion. It's such a pleasure to see you again.
Well, thank you. It's nice to see you settled and happy. Now I'm going back into town, and Victoria Bellman's going to make arrangements for me to meet Elliot Carrington.
Barry? You tired?
No, why should I be tired?
Well, you've been up since 4 o'clock this morning and worked all the way through
I feel
sunset.
fine, Ginny.
Something's wrong. What is it?
I don't want to talk about it.
Barry,
Just
please.
forget it.
Colonel Austin coming here bring up all sorts of bad memories from the
You
prison camp.
stop treating me like a child. Steve is your child. I'm your husband.
Barrett, please.
Don't patronize me.
I didn't intend to do that.
Well, that's how it feels.
Just concerned about Colonel Austin's visit.
It's not Colonel Austin. It's Elliot Carrington. Austin has no right to see Elliot.
Colonel Austin is a friend of Elliot.
Elliot's a traitor. He doesn't deserve to have friends.
Now, you didn't tell me why you changed your mind about leaving Houston. I assume it has to do with something as far as you and Ginny are concerned.
Yeah. In a way, it has.
Now, I knew why you were going away, to allow Ginny to get her life back with Barrett, right?
Yeah, that's right. I felt if I stayed around town, I'd want to see her, and she'd probably want to see me, too.
But then, why are you changing your mind now?
Well, situation's a little different right now.
Well, then I don't understand.
Yesterday, I found out that Ginny's pregnant.
Then you think.
I think Ginny's carrying my child.
I see this must be very difficult for you.
I haven't seen Ginny since before Barry got out of the hospital, and that's when I told her I was going away. And
Then she doesn't know about your change of plans. What are you going to do now?
I don't know. I sure better do something. I just don't know.